It's a place synonymous with southern Vermont, where America's most famous poet lived and wrote his most famous poem.
I think he loved living here. He certainly was very productive here.
Believe it or not, so is a short-lived car maker.
Produced right here in Bennington.
It's still home to the state's oldest independent bookstore, and a local landmark here is about to become one of the most audacious fixer-uppers you'll ever see.
Your message to those naysayers who would say, "Are you kidding me?" would be what?
Lean in. Do it.
Nearby, a one-of-a-kind Nordic ski center that's managed to both stay open and stay crazy cheap.
It's 26 bucks.
We also head into Vermont's second largest wilderness area, but still first for unsolved mysteries.
Over a 5-year period, 5 separate people vanished in these woods, gone without a trace. We'll look at the enduring mystery of Glastonbury Mountain.
But no mystery on where's the best breakfast here.
We love the food.
It's the main streets and back roads of Bennington County, Vermont. Next on Chronicle.
This is Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5.
Bordering the Berkshires and New York State, Bennington County is Vermont's oldest, an area once home to the Abenaki Mohican peoples and later the site of significant Revolutionary War history.
Today, with a population of just over 15,000, Bennington is southern Vermont's largest town with a thriving cultural scene, a famous liberal arts college, all surrounded by a lot of history and a lot of beautiful rolling hills.
We're kind of cradled here in the southwestern corner. We kind of think of ourselves as kind of the gateway to Vermont.
Jamie Franklin is curator of the Bennington Museum, which sits on one of those hills and is a kind of a unique and quirky gateway itself to the town and all its different facets.
We really tell the story of Bennington and Vermont.
The colonial story here is highlighted by a range of artifacts from the famed Battle of Bennington, but it's a peculiar artifact from the earliest 20th century that really made me tap the brakes.
Needless to say, Bennington, Vermont will never be confused with Detroit, Michigan, and yet produced right here in Bennington.
Carl Martin Wasp.
Named for German designer Carl Martin, just 20 of these luxury cars were produced here in Bennington before the company folded in 1925.
You do not see interiors like that anymore.
Nope.
The museum also boasts the world's largest collection of paintings by famed folk artist Grandma Moses, whose painting Bennington 1953 includes a depiction of the museum itself. But curiously, unconnected to the museum, it was a Vermont reference in a far more famous painting that had recently caught my eye. In 1943, Norman Rockwell was living in Vermont when he painted Freedom from Fear, the newspaper in the father's hand, the Bennington Banner, 185 years old in 2026 and still going.
I still believe what we do is important, as cliche as that sounds, right? We generate thousands of pieces of content, primarily about local things that are happening.
Today, Jordan Breckenser is president and publisher of the daily newspaper and its digital platform. Merely staying open and in business is no small feat anymore. Since 2005, about 3,500 local newspapers across the U.S. have closed, creating what's often described as news deserts, leaving some 50 million people in the U.S. without access to reliable local news.
You don't know what's going on around you. You don't know from courts to crime, from new businesses opening up, to sports, to school, to education, to healthcare. You don't know what's happening in your own backyard.
From its perch on Bennington's Main Street, the Banner continues to diligently cover its evolving backyard, where tough patches like way too many vacant storefronts are troubling to see, but many here maintain there's an opening for optimism, too.
Residents here enjoy coming together, seeing a new storefront open, seeing a new restaurant open. I mean, there's a lot of people who are doing really good work here.
People like Rafe Churchill and Casey Sunderland, who certainly don't lack optimism. Their company, Hendricks Churchill, has done a variety of stunning restoration projects all around New England, but for degree of difficulty, few projects rival their new property in the old Bennington district.
I think a lot of people will look at this building and say, this is a tremendous undertaking that you guys are taking on.
And scary.
And scary.
Older than the nation itself, the landmark Walloomsac Inn has hosted history for 2.5 centuries, including multiple U.S. presidents. But for the past 20 years, alas, its status slid more into eyesore. But its new owners and renovators are undaunted. What's falling down now they intend to resurrect as a proud and busy hotel again.
I think a lot of people kind of gave up on it, right? But we're like fully resurrecting something. So to me, that's the motivator.
In their company's previous resurrections, as it were, preserving as much historic detail as possible has been their defining design goal, even in a room that hasn't been checked into in a century.
Going to come back as a modern hotel room.
This will be a modern hotel room. We will keep pretty much all of this trim intact as it is.
What kind of response have you had from the Bennington community?
We've had an outpouring of love for the building. We've had people talk to us about getting married at the old First Church across the street, coming across and having their honeymoon here. Our vision is rooted in bringing these historic buildings back and ultimately using hospitality as a means to sustain them and keep them, living, breathing into the future.